The NFL draft is just 3 days away, and players who have sacrificed themselves, worked hard, and enjoyed a successful college career will soon see their dreams come true by playing in the NFL. And we're here to talk it up with one of those players today as we go one-on-one with Josey Jewell, the 8th-ranked inside linebacker prospect at our Lads for the 2018 NFL Draft on the OFN Meeting Room with Greg DePalma. All right, it's Monday, April 23rd, 2018. I'm Greg DePalma, and thanks for tuning in to the OFN Meeting Room as we talk NFL Draft with Iowa linebacker Josey Jewell. So, Josey, thanks for speaking with us today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You got it. Josey, so consensus All-American status in your final season with the Hawkeyes, including a whopping 437 career tackles, give or take, to your name, with 28 tackles for loss, 10 sacks, 6 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles. Now, that's a heck of a college football career. So did you accomplish everything you wanted to accomplish at Iowa?
Yeah, I think most of it. I didn't come in knowing too much about it, what was going to happen. I got the scholarship about 3 days prior to signing day, so didn't really know what was going to happen. I kind of thought I set high goals at the time. But I kind of surpassed them. And you kind of have to adjust when you play, and you have to adjust your goals. And just depending on how you're playing and stuff like that, you want to always keep them high. But if you're achieving them too easily, you have to kind of ramp them up a little bit. So, I didn't know if I was going to be playing that early in my college career that much, and you just had to adjust your goals from there. And I think I achieved most of them as I went on.
Now, what about team goals? How did the wins and losses? How did that go for you over your career?
Yeah, not as good as I liked. Not as good as we all wanted. I think we all wanted better. Our 2015 season was awesome. Go undefeated in the regular season. But the thing about that is you always want to end on a high note, and you want to end the season right.
Oh yeah.
And that's one thing we couldn't do that year either. But you know what? It's all about adjusting to different schemes. The whole game is about adjusting everything, literally. So you know what? I don't know if we achieved our goals on the winning side, but we did the best we could, and sometimes you're dealt with the cards, and you just got to deal with them, and try to play your best. And I think we, as a team, we always came out there and gave 100%. So I don't think there was much more we could do. We lost some close games this last year, but you always hope to win more games than you do.
What about that Big Ten championship game? Was that had to be the toughest loss of your career?
Yeah, that was definitely the worst one of the career. How it all went down. How as the defense is on the field last. We are not last, but we had the chance to stop them from scoring on one of their last drives that they had.
Yep.
And it was down to less than a minute, and they had a huge drive with, I don't even know how long the drive was, but it was very long, and we kept on getting them to fourth down. So yeah, that one, stuck in my head, and I think I used that for motivation. I think we all did, especially guys in my grade. We used that loss, and we tried to use it for motivation, just because, how the game went, and, you can always do something better in a game. Even if you think you had a perfect game, you can always do something better. And we could have had the game won in multiple different ways if we just did, one thing different. So it's always, critiquing yourself the hardest you can.
What about your biggest win, team win? What was the win that you remember that was definitely the highlight of your career?
Ohio State probably is up there. It's Ohio State or Michigan. I'd go Ohio State, more recent. And just the feeling we had in the locker room afterwards. I mean, that's another reason why you play, is the feeling in the locker room afterwards with your teammates. The bond you share, the hard work that you put in the off season, the hard work you put in during the season. And you finally get to celebrate in the locker room with the teammates. So I think, that Ohio State game this year was probably the best one.
All right, now you didn't run as fast as you would have liked at the Combine, but you ran faster at your pro day. So could you have performed any better at each of those events, or are you one of those players who's just a better football player than a workout warrior?
Yeah, I think I could have ran a little bit faster at the Combine. Just needed to hone in a couple things there, but my time wasn't very good. But you got to look past that a little bit sometimes. And I'm not the prototypical, the workout guy, the guy you see with just a spandex on, I'm not that flattering, not that good looking that way. So I try to, I just try to do my best job on the field. Going into the pros, that's one of the parts you have to try to look good during that. And I tried. But my best stuff I think is on the field, being able to lead a team, being able to play with other players, communication, and just be able to go out there and, go balls out every single rep.
What do you think you have to do to improve your game? Is there something specific that you are already aware of that you have to do better on the football field?
Oh, yeah, I think there's some multiple ones. I try to be a film junkie, and I try to be able to lead the team. And, being able to lead the team is being able to know what they're going to do and help everybody out by telling them what they're probably going to do out of certain situations or certain formations. But the things I need to work on, I think your first step can always improve, especially as a linebacker. You don't want to take any false steps, and your first step's very important, especially maybe if you're not the fastest guy out there and you're going against some of the fastest guys, in football with wide receivers, running backs. So I think my first step could definitely improve. I think man coverage can always improve with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You can never be perfect at man coverage, and especially when you move up another notch, from college to pros, you're going to be able to, cover even better guys. So I think, I need to be able to focus on that, and I have been focusing on that during this little off-season period, training for the combine, and now getting ready for the draft, just trying to work on, one-on-ones and stuff like that to be able to, compare myself and be able to, stay tight on those cover ones. If the team I go to is playing a lot of cover one, I got to match up with somebody.
Okay. If you had just one game film that you were the most proud of, that you would like scouts to see, which game film would that be?
It's a great question. I've moved that around a couple of games. The Michigan State game from this past year was one of my better ones that I felt like just showed some instinctive stuff, I thought, and then maybe a Purdue game, sneak that in there. So either one of those games would definitely be the ones I'd choose.
Was there any particular reason? Besides just, anything that just quickly, that's the reason?
I just floated the ball, had a lot of tackles where, I got past the line of scrimmage. I wasn't tackling people, 3 yards downfield, like maybe some other people or, whatever. That's the thing, some of these teams, they talk about, oh, you had this many tackles.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Where were they? Were they at the line of scrimmage?
That's right.
Were they behind the line of scrimmage, or were they 4 or 5 yards and you finally got to them? So
yep.
I think those games, after talking to some guys, scouts and coaches, those games were kind of my better games.
Okay.
That I usually, got the tackles within the box.
Okay. Give me a player you played against who draft fans should keep an eye on that's not expected to be a top draft pick, like somebody who may be in the middle rounds, later rounds, maybe he'll be even drafted next year. But just somebody that be nice to throw his name out there because he may not be a superstar.
Yeah, that's tough to say. I was going to say right away when you said that, I'd say Quan.
Sure, that would have been easy.
Stuff. But yeah, and then Troy Fumagalli. I don't know if he got a lot.
Oh, that's okay. That's a good one.
From Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I thought he was pretty dang good with both parts of his game, blocking and reception wise. Billy Price is another one, but he's going to get drafted pretty early too. So
not bad,
I'd probably go with Troy Fumagalli.
Okay. What about players that you've watched on the sidelines, or maybe even at home? Player that let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Somebody that wow, that's a good player. That's somebody that the fans should definitely be on the lookout for.
I saw on the Hawkeye sideline.
No, opposition on defense though. Somebody on defense that maybe you've watched. You just say you were going up against that day, or it could even be on TV. But somebody that definitely was on the defensive side of the ball.
So the defensive side of the ball, but they didn't play.
They weren't. You could have. Well, you weren't playing against them obviously because they were on defense. But yeah, you could have even been there at the game, and you were just noticing that player on defense, your opposition, or it could have just been at home. Because I know you're busy on the sideline. Sometimes you don't have time to see what's going on. But just a defensive player that caught your eye.
Yeah.
You didn't play against though.
Yeah, that's a good one. Michigan State linebacker. I'm trying to think of his name. Number 35, I believe.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I can't even come up with the name, dang it. I
no,
had it.
I know it.
Too.
I know who you're talking about. It's Bocce. Joe
Yeah,
Bocce. Is that how you?
Yep.
Yep.
I think it's something like that. I don't know the pronunciation on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I've
But
heard
I
good
noticed
things.
him during our game. He was pretty thick dude and a good run stopper against us. And I mean, even guys like Jack Sitchie, another Wisconsin guy that I saw, a couple of years ago. Just good at speak to players.
Okay. If you had to pitch a potential player and he was thinking of going to Iowa, how would you do it?
Well, it's a great one. It's just a family atmosphere at Iowa. You come in the first day, and you definitely can tell there's not a lot of individuals that are on the team that, woe is me, they think they're the best. And if you do think you're the best, you're going to have to show it. And, nobody's going to get special treatment here. It's all, you're all equal. And, whoever plays the best is going to get the playing time. They're not going to favor anybody. But it all comes down to that family atmosphere. You play games, and like I said, the feeling after a game in the locker room is something, I'll never forget, and especially how Iowa does it. After a win, we'll sing the fight song, and we'll all just be talking after the game, and it's just a good culture that we have here, and I was lucky to go here.
Who is there like a next best player to watch on the team on defense? Somebody that you think, look out for this guy or that guy. I know you don't want to have to single anyone out, but you're not on the team anymore, so come on.
Yeah, that is tough. Just looking at some of the guys that were pretty good last year that I saw early on, and I went to a couple spring practices, spring game.
Okay.
And I saw a guy that popped out. It was probably Amani Hooker, and then a guy Amani Jones. So the two I go with the double Amanis, and
that'll be easy
to
to
remember.
They were
pretty dang good. One's a D-back safety, and Amani Jones is a linebacker. Both just guys have a very instinctive for the ball, know what they're doing. And they're football players. That's what they are, and that's what the cool thing to watch about them. But the thing is, it's hard to pick too because there's so many of them that I watched.
Oh yeah, sure.
I was really impressed with, and I thought a lot of them made some strides from even when I saw them last year when we were playing. When they were in Devo practices or after practices where the 2s and 3s got reps.
Yep.
A lot of them have come a long ways.
Nathan Stanley looking pretty good, right? Should have a good career.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about spring practice, the ones I weren't at. I don't think he threw very many picks at all this spring. But the unfortunate thing was he didn't have the best spring game, I heard. So, and I saw a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? I think the guy's a mature guy for how young he is, a very good leader, also for how young he is. And he's just accepting that role. He's not a huge rah-rah guy, but he's definitely a leader that'll keep everybody, where they're supposed to be. And he's a leader by example, so that's awesome.
And I know Noah Fant, you've gone up against him in practice. I mean, he's got a nice future ahead of him, right? Yeah,
it's him and T.J. Hawkinson. I think they're probably going to be the best duo of tight ends in college football next year. I seriously think that, especially Fant, you saw some of the stuff this year if you watched our games.
Yep.
He's done very well. And the thing is, T.J. hasn't got a lot of recognition because Fant, he's played very well, but they're both very, very good route runners, and they're getting better at blocking, which at Iowa they have to know how to block definitely to be tight ends. But they've done a great job, and I think those are going to be two huge names coming out of us next year.
All right, Kirk Ferentz, you'd be shocked if he ever left Iowa to coach anywhere else.
Very shocked, yeah. But I mean, wherever he wants to go, it's cool. But he's done a great job for so long, and he's got the name to back him up there. And for what he's done, I mean, you just look at his resume.
Yep. Did you have a favorite NFL team growing up?
Growing up, it was early on. Maybe when I was in second grade, my dad always liked the Broncos and the Rams. That was back when they were the St. Louis Rams.
Uh-huh.
And, I liked them a lot early on. Wore their apparel, stuff like that. But recently, I don't have a huge favorite team. I just kind of zone in on the linebackers, and I watch certain guys play, and it's not too much of a. I don't look at it too much of a team-wise, I guess, lately.
By the way, you're okay. I know you dealt with that illness that kept you out of the Senior Bowl, so you're okay. That was just a temporary thing.
Yeah, that was just temporary. I didn't like how I was feeling. I had that sickness, lost quite a bit of weight, and didn't feel like I could put my best foot forward going into the Senior Bowl, and thought rest on the body of film that I had.
Sure. Absolutely. And last question, outside of football, what kind of a career do you think you could have or will have?
I don't know. I've been working on it's Outlaw Farming Technology. That's the company name, and Herdmaster is the product name. It's a virtual cattle fencing product.
Wow.
You know, it's like the dog collar.
Okay.
But it's for cattle and it's on an ear tag. So I've been working on that for a year and a half, 2 years now, at least 2 years, and have just got done with the prototype and working on the software engineering right now. So putting some cool things together and hopefully, you know, just trying to be involved in the agricultural world and make the lives easier on farmers.
That's terrific. So you have a website for that yet, or that's coming?
Nope, that's coming. Yeah, I'll definitely shoot that out to you when that comes. But right now we're in the kind of early stages. But once we get our software engineering done soon, you know, we'll be able to actually be testing the product and be hopefully getting a product out for sale here pretty soon within the next year. But just depends on how the software stuff goes. You know, there's a lot of stuff that we want to involve in it. We want to involve the health of the animal, and we also want to keep you know, the animal within a certain bounds and also be able to move the cattle efficiently through the pastures. So it's a lot of cool features in one thing.
That's terrific. Best of luck with that, Josey, and best of luck in the draft. And after that, should be a busy year for you, an exciting year, exciting time for you. And we look forward to talking to you again when we know exactly where you're going to be in the NFL. Best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You got it. That's Josey Jewell and Iowa Hawkeyes. That's where he's from. That's where he'll always be from. And, you know, I guess you can call him like a lunch pail, old school lunch pail linebacker. I like that because those guys, they can be pretty good at the next level. I know the NFL wants a certain type of linebacker nowadays. And sometimes they don't even play three linebackers anymore. But Josey's got the goods, and he'll make it on the next level. There ain't no doubt about that. So we wish him the best of luck, and it will be interesting to find out where he lands because he's going to be productive, and he's going to be an excellent addition to an NFL roster. So I want to thank Josey for joining us here on the OFN Meeting Room. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at PrimeSN because we have a very busy schedule over the next week with a whole bunch of draft shows. We're going to be on Thursday early with Dan Shanka, our lad scout and GM, national scout and GM. So we'll have a Thursday show before the draft that day. We will have a round 1 recap and a round 2 preview on Friday at 3 Eastern. And then we'll be on the air the following week after the draft to recap for every team in the AFC and NFC on the Our Lads Football Network, Our Lads Guide to the 2018 NFL Draft. So thanks for tuning in to the OFN Meeting Room, and we'll see you next time on the Our Lads Football Radio Network, where it's never too early to think about the NFL Draft.